First one was from Manisha, Manjushri Hegde, and where is she? You are sitting there, so you should be in the front. So she has based her paper on the writings of Shelder Pollock, and she said that they were 75 in number, but only 30 has been consulted here, and most of them were on Indian intellectual history, Indian knowledge systems, death of Sanskrit, problem of early modernism in Sanskrit intellectual traditions, all that. So it was a good paper in my view, and she has touched various dimensions to show that the theory or the notion put by Shelder Pollock was absurd, totally wrong, especially when he talks about Renaissance and death and birth. All these terms are very absurd in Indian point of view, because if the Navya Gangesh Upadhyay, if Navya Nyaya is there, so Navya means doesn't mean that now it is getting open. I remember in the Rig Veda, in the Agni Sukta, that is the first Sukta, Agni Midhe Purohitam, the second verse says, Agni Purve bhi Rishbhi Ridyo Nutnai Rup Ut. In the second verse, there are 10,550 verses in Rig Veda, and they are talking, and the Rig Veda is the oldest text on the earth. So there they are mentioning new and old. So these terms are not cannot decide anything. Moreover, when I was a childhood, I was reading the same Punarjagran ka Siddhant, Renaissance, theory of Renaissance in American, in European Renaissance. So all these theories are actually formed by Western Indologists to with a biased point of view, and they have a Western lens. And moreover, I feel that I don't condemn them totally, because they have tried a lot, and they are very serious also in their efforts, and they when they are researching, they are very, very minute in their observations, and the wide read, everything is there. But what is lacking behind is the spirit. They are not getting that spirit. When as you have mentioned, everything was very, very good in your paper, and I understand it is a 25 pages paper, but you have put here in short, and finally you have said that it is far easier to see the continuity of the tradition than its divergence. I like this line very much, and contribution was never stopped by Indians. Sometimes it was changed, sometimes it was not visible, but it was never stopped. Indian tradition, intellectual tradition, continuously it was flowing. Pandit Raj Jagannath is its example, and many others are there. I have written a history of Sanskrit literature also. So never it was stopped, but due to various reasons it is not available, or it is maybe in this manuscript, so many texts are there. So I like your paper, and it was focused on the theme, no doubt. So congratulations. The second paper was by Animesh, and he has based his findings or his conclusions on Shelder Pollock's views on Ramayana. Only 4 or 5 points you have taken: divinization and dominization construct, free will of characters, and I think you have left out many others which were in your paper, so due to lack of time. But as you have pointed out, I agree with him very much, because in India, as we know, when we say divine hero, Ram is divine hero, Devi Utpatti ka Siddhant. In the Vedas we find Raja is, or a king is, different from an ordinary man. So Devi Utpatti ka Siddhant, in the god there will be 10 deities. Shatpat Brahmana says then there are many instances, many references in Vedas where divine qualities make a king a king. He is not an ordinary man. So when Sheldon Pollock writes, his paper is on divine king in the Indian epic. And then he says that Ram was not a man, he was divine. And that is why he was able to kill Ravana. Otherwise, how a man can kill him? So this is some type of cheating. So in the form of a man, actually he is a divine, but he is in a form of a man. So there are other points also as dharma, Ramo Vigrahavan dharma. Ravan is not following dharma. That is why he has been killed. He is tamoguni. Ram is satoguni. Ram is a king. And not only Ram, as you have shown in your whole thesis, where, there are so many instances where kings are saying themselves as Ram, as in the morning session Dr. Nagaswami was mentioning, so in the Thailand. So everyone every king wants to show him as a Ram. It doesn't mean that he is divine, but he wants to cultivate those qualities. And Ravan was killed because he was demon to death. We all understand in India that divine and demon, these are symbolic terms. There is no Rakshas, there is no Devata. So human beings are divine or human beings are demon. So Ramayana is a very high thing, and Sheldon Pollock is not able to understand its inner sense, and he is traveling on the surface. He is traveling on the surface. And the second thing, I feel that whatever he wants to prove, he takes references of that only and left so many other. So this is no research. For research, you have to go to the whole text, the whole evidences, everything, then you have to reach a conclusion. So for proving your thing, like debate in a courtroom, he is saying his, but he is not allowing others to say something. So this is very good. Such type of conferences are to debate his old or rotten notions. This is very important. And I myself has worked on some Ramayana writings on Sheldon Pollock. I find that he has written 3 papers, and they are very deep papers, in fact. When he says that in Divine King in the Indian epic, then Rakshasas and others, the paper is there. And then the third paper is which you have mentioned also about political imagination. So that shows the intention, wrong intention. The beginning of that paper is very, very objectionable for Indians and intellectual community. So with reference to that, he is starting the reading of political impact of then he says, wow, I have to find out from when political impact of Ramayana begin in India. Then he shows the whole detail of in this century this was happened, this century this was happened. So all this thing shows that his whole thesis, his whole notions and views are on a deciding. Already he has decided, so he is biased in the writing. So that paper is not a scholarly paper in my view. Even he has given political, all references which he is quoting there, historical references of inscriptions and texts. When that king was known as a Ram, he says he is Ram. But definitely in Valmiki Ramayana, Ram is a man. There is no doubt Ram is a man. He is on the floor. He is not asking any special quality, divine powers. He is not using any powers. He is just behaving as a human being. All the time so he has divine qualities, but he is a man. Purushottama, Narottama, Naradeva, Purush Rishabha. All these are adjectives. Time to time Valmiki is using them. And about will also, you have what you have mentioned. We all know Ram was following the orders of his father. This doesn't mean that he was not having a good free will. Sita was having a free will. Sita was following Ram. No one has said, you go to forest. So it shows free will is not restricted in Ramayana, but Ram is obedient to his father. That's why he is going to. So like that, again he is talking about subject has no will. And everyone knows that in the Uttar Kanda, Ram is following the will of the public. And Lokamata, Janamata, Lokamata, he is following not only Rajmata, but he is following Lokamata. Lokanuranjana, he is a king. So all these things are very important to know, and we all know, but my humble submission here is these conferences are very important. I am teaching Sanskrit, I am studying Sanskrit, Vedas and all these subjects from the last 40 years or more than that. But no one is listening. In our Sanskrit class, no person from other disciplines are coming inside. So we all know all these things very much. Our students know what is Ramayana, what is who is Ram, who is Ravan. But now if other persons are coming and listening and telling and talking about all these things, then it is effective. And I want to congratulate IGNCA, Sushma is there, and other Professor Kannan, he is here. And all the best. We will be here for 3 days, and I think some fruitful conclusions will be find out by us. Okay, thank you.
To help me, you can do two things. You can go to the subscribe button on my YouTube and subscribe. We need more subscribers there. Secondly, I get lots of emails on people saying, how do we donate? How can we help you? You go to rajivmalhotra.com or you go to infinityfoundation.com and you can hit the donate button. You can donate in dollars. There are different ways mentioned. If you want to donate in rupees, there is a column called Infinity Foundation India, and you click that and there are instructions on how you can donate in India.